global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news. Stay tuned. The president of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has finally spoken on June 12th, and other people have responded to him. But then, as you already know, Nigeria does not have just one president. We have more than one president. There's one official president, which is Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We also have Peter Obi. A lot of Obedience call him their president, and also Atiku seems to be the president of the opposition, and the likes of Sowore, we know that they are the street president, and they have their different views about every government as they come. Right now, Atiku Abubakar has spoken. Peter Obi has already spoken, and you've already heard details of what he has to tell Nigerians. But then, let's look at what Atiku Abubakar have to tell Nigerians. Now, the first thing he says here was that the secondary purpose of declaring every June 12th as Democracy Day in our country is to commemorate the history of our long journey of becoming a stable democratic country. Truth be told, there is no substitute to democracy as a form of government. Whereas our current democratic dispensation is a quarter of a century old, it will not be out of place to pay tribute to the sacrifices made by many patriots, chiefly among the Bashirun MKO Abiola and his beloved wife Alaja, Mrs. Kulirat Abiola, Tafawa Balewa, Shehu Yaradwa, and Alfred Yawen, among many others. The historical timeline of the struggle that birthed this democracy is abundant with a series of coalitions and alliances among the political leadership of that era to flush away the vestige of military and dictatorial governance in order to return power to the people. It is commendable that for 25 years we have witnessed an uninterrupted season of electoral politics. It is an unprecedented epoch in our history. It is worthy of celebration and commendation must go. It is worthy of celebration and commendation must go to the people of our great country. I must also congratulate the political class for having embraced the rectitude of nurturing a democracy as well as the civil society. It's important that all stakeholders continue to do their bit to ensure the sustainability of our democracy. But our democracy is not yet virile if it continually failed to deliver the promises of prosperity and liberty to the people. However, the past 9 years has turned up a regime of extreme hardship manifested in excruciating poverty and unprecedented level of violence and insecurity upon our people. Sadly, the ruling All Progressive Congress is to be blamed for bringing forth this dawn of gloom. But the opposition political parties are even more guilty than the ruling party for the seeming lack of capacity to come together and galvanize a coalition that will retire the ruling party and articulate a plan of good governance that will aid the conviction of Nigerians. Today, the failings of the opposition party to uphold the functionality of their existence is the major threat to our democracy. The earlier they realize that the fortunes of Nigeria lies in their forging a coalition, the better it will be for our country and the people. This is quite exciting, I must say, and is what talking about. Now, this is something, and that was exactly the strategy that was used by APC to overthrew PDP from power, the power of coalition, the power of alliance. And that is what we need right now if we must throw off this current administration from power, because we must tell ourselves the truth. This current administration, Nigerians have seen the worst of it, I must say. It has never been this bad. My colleague is in the house. What's your position on this?
Well, everybody's speaking for themselves. Let's tell ourselves the truth. When you say the refusal of the opposition to form a formidable team, each one of the opposition also want to rule. Each one of them also want to sit on that seat, except they will bring in selflessness, of which I don't see our top politicians doing this, except a handful really. But then again, that's the only way that APC was able to wrestle away from PDP. This same thing that APC is doing, PDP did it in the time past, but just that APC decided to show them shogi by moving it even much, much more higher than what they did. So for they realized that the way they wrestled power from them was for them to form coalitions like, we had quite a number of them, of which the present president championed it. It came all together. That was the only way really they could do that. To tell you the truth, that's probably the only way the opposition will take away power from this present dispensation. But the question now is, when they take away power, or when they form this powerful coalition, would it be the powerful alliance of some corrupt, politicians coming together, taking corruption to another level? Let's tell ourselves the truth. It's just that selfishness that's making them still not to come together.
All right, someone asked a very serious question. He said Atiku Abubakar is part of the people that brought hardship to on Nigerians, and now he's playing Holy Saint Michael. And he then said something very interesting. He said all the people that are claiming to have a solution to Nigerian problem, how were their regions when they were in government and now? Do you think that's a good parameter to judge all these guys who are craving for coalition to overthrow the current administration? Or do you think that they have learned their lessons and they have an intention of coming back to, correct it?
I don't think so. I think it's a good question to ask. A leper cannot change his spot. You can't give what you don't have.
Mm-hmm.
If during their time they impoverish their region, this time around to even get worse, now that they know that Nigerians can be very docile. Even then, there was this level of awareness then, but right now Nigerians seem to be more docile, always trusting God for a miracle of some sort. Not taking their destinies in their hands. I feel that I feel that whatever will happen, you get to see the person's trademark from his antecedent, from his past. Peter Obi, they called him stingy, they called him, I call him prudent, but at least everybody could see that he did something tangible. Everybody keeps going against Peter Obi, but yet he's not a sitting president because he's a force to reckon with. His past speaks for himself. But you can't say the same of the president of Bola, the president of Atiku Abubakar. Though one would say that he has tasted presidency at some point, but let's tell ourselves the truth. The truth must be told. In the time and reign of Atiku Abubakar, though he was the VP, how was the region, the northern region? Of course, it was nothing to write home about. But you can't compare it relatively then and now, because now it's even worse.
I think during his time, that was when these Boko Haram guys were coming up. They were not this strong.
Yes.
But the tree was not this strong.
But I feel that why are we still recycling old hands? Don't we have new ones,
but sometimes
new experienced ones?
That's true, but don't forget that the devil, is better than the angel you do not know.
Can we not just try Peter Obi for a change?
Yeah, Peter Obi is not a new guy in the block. He has an antecedent of leadership, but there are some people I can't support.
I'm referring to somebody who has sat on that seat in Nassau Rock. Atiku Abubakar has sat there, whether it's as a VP or as a president, but at least he has entered Nassau Rock. Let's try someone who has never tested it, though he has been in the corridor of power. Peter Obi comes very quickly to my mind.
And his antecedent speaks for him.
So if they're going to come for like some sort of coalition, let them leave self now. If they truly love Nigeria and they want Nigerians to grow, and they know their capacity and they know the capacity of the persons that they're trying to run against, if you know that the person's capacity is a little better than yours, why not take away self and selfishness, and let's see how we can redeem Nigeria from breaking. That's just my personal opinion, though.
Okay, so now the last question. Looking at the situation of things and the level of castigation that this current administration has gotten from Nigerians, do you think that after now there will be a kind of a change? Because for me, I'm not seeing any plan on ground. But do you think that they have anything in their sleeves to show Nigerians?
Now the question is, do they have anything to give? Because you can't give what you don't have. If there's this mistake we usually make way back then. When young ladies, for example, when they see their mates, their classmates getting married, they're like, "Oh God, when I go to answer my prayer, I just want to get married. I don't want to get married." They take long time, almost a year, planning for the wedding, but they didn't even take a night to plan for the marriage proper. So by the time they come into the marriage, a lot of things become strange to them. A lot of things they start complaining, "My own marriage is so hard. Why is my own God punishing me?" Because they didn't take time to plan the marriage, but they took a lot of time planning the wedding. Now, if you take a look at the campaigns, take a look at the plans that the president had, he was taking his time planning from the days of Buhari, how he will eventually become the president of this country. Now he's the president. And one would have expected that there will be a lot of roll up, something you have been the dream that you have become to the point that you have a Milocom as a slogan. One would have expected that there will be a lot of things rolled out instead of us getting something to roll out. Instead, we're seeing even the investors had many years investors running out of the economy, and we're not bringing anyone new into the economy. And that clearly shows you that. And now, despite the fact that Nigerians are shouting hunger, starvation, insecurity, no jobs, so the country is not giving, a whole lot of things are happening. But you keep them not be patient. 1 year has rolled up. Be patient. Be patient. Cost of living is getting high. Be patient.
Companies are going away.
Companies are going up. Be patient. Be patient. Our senators are not even sacrificing. They say Nigerians should sacrifice, but our top politicians are not sacrificing anything. They're collecting their allowance complete, no shortage at all. And they keep telling Nigerians, be patient. Let the poor praise. For how long will the poor brace? Let me quote them word for word. So it clearly shows if there's a plan on ground, we keep borrowing, we borrow to clear off debt, we borrow to do infrastructure, and you ask yourself a question, are there no plans to redeem the poor, the benefit of democracy? The poor, the citizens are not deriving anything. Just as if the benefit of democracy in Nigeria is for the elites. And so they're enjoying this democracy. They can actually celebrate Democracy Day. But are the poor Nigerians on the street, would they clearly say that Democracy Day is something to celebrate about?
All right. That's where we'd like to leave it. Let's meet in the comment section and talk more on this. Thank